Big game, big stadium, and in the 63rd minute a new name stepped into the spotlight. This is how Liam Delap turned his first Chelsea appearance into a moment no one will forget. In Europe, there's an unwritten rule everyone knows by heart. Never underestimate Chelsea in a cup competition. And this summer, alongside Manchester City, the Blues have arrived at the Club World Cup with one clear mission: to bring this rare, unconventional trophy back to English soil. The first test of that ambition came in the form of Los Angeles Football Club, one of the tournament's hosts. But truth be told, LAFC never really stood a chance. Everyone knew it. From the very first whistle, it was Chelsea dictating the rhythm. The Americans weren't pushing forward, they were bracing for impact. And then, a familiar name. Hugo Lloris. Yes, that Hugo Lloris. Somehow finding himself guarding the goalposts for LAFC, but even with all his experience, he nearly saw his net breached early when Nicolas Jackson's clever footwork unlocked a golden chance for Madueke. Lloris held his ground. Age may have caught up with him, but not his instincts. Not yet. Still, Chelsea didn't have to wait long. This time, Jackson turned provider, sliding an inch-perfect through ball into the path of Pedro Neto. The Portuguese winger burst into space, chopped inside his marker, and lashed the ball into the near post. Clinical, cold-blooded, pure quality. And yet, the stands at Mercedes-Benz Stadium were half empty. It was mid-afternoon in America, fans still stuck at work or running errands, missing out on a truly world-class finish from Chelsea's number 7. LAFC knew they were the underdogs, but as the home team, surrender wasn't an option. Their best reply came from David Martinez, a curling effort that could have been a goal for the ages, had it not clipped a teammate on the way through. Still, the match settled into a familiar pattern. Chelsea laying siege to the penalty box, with 10 or 11 white shirts crowded behind the ball. LAFC's plan was clear: survive. But Nicolas Jackson nearly broke through again, with a vicious strike that had Lloris scrambling. Chelsea, though dominant, weren't careless. They knew LAFC carried danger on the counter, and Robert Sanchez had to come up big to preserve the clean sheet. A reminder: on this stage, one slip is all it takes, no matter the badge on your chest. For American fans watching, the appeal of European football isn't just goals or tactical mastery. They crave the artistry, the individual brilliance. Enter Cole Palmer, a dazzling solo run, gliding past defenders, only for the finish to let him down at the last moment. Still, it was a glimpse of why Europe's stars shine differently. But Chelsea knew time was ticking. They needed a second goal to kill the game. And yet, LAFC kept fighting. They defended with grit, throwing bodies in front of every shot, showing the kind of determination that can't be taught. Chelsea launched wave after wave, until Palmer, perhaps a bit too eager, sent one rocketing into the stands instead of the net. And then, the scare. Chelsea's own penalty box, under siege. LAFC surged forward, nearly scoring a shock equalizer. A few inches, a cleaner touch, and the story might have flipped. But they missed. And in football, you pay for those moments. Enzo Fernández, calm, composed, clinical. The Argentine was in the right place at the right time, stroking home a finish that was simple on the surface, but laced with class. 2-0. Game over. Enzo's finding his rhythm on American soil, and maybe, just maybe, this is only the beginning of a bigger story for him this summer. LAFC knew the mountain was too steep now, but to their credit, they kept climbing. They pressed on, nearly finding a late goal of their own. A better final touch, and they might have snatched a moment of glory. But it wasn't to be. Still, both teams walk away with something. Chelsea take the 3 points, without ever shifting into top gear. They showed the pedigree of a European powerhouse, in a 2-0 win that never really felt in doubt. But the numbers behind the scoreline tell a deeper story. Chelsea controlled the ball, dictated the play, created chances at will. And yet, questions remain. Finishing, ruthlessness, efficiency in the final third, the kind of traits that become absolutely crucial in the knockout stages, where one mistake can end everything. Chelsea's dominance wasn't just visible on the scoreboard, it was written across every statistic. 66% possession, over 700 passes, a completion rate of 91%. This was a team in control, a team playing exactly the way Enzo Maresca wants them to, dictating tempo, commanding the midfield, controlling space, and forcing the opposition to retreat. But in modern football, control isn't enough. Fluent passing needs a destination, and in Chelsea's case, that final stop, the goal, is still where their biggest questions lie. 17 shots produced only 2 goals. Several clear chances were squandered. It's a sign that when it comes to finishing, Chelsea are not yet at their most ruthless, and that matters. Because when they come up against stronger, more experienced teams, they won't get 17 chances. They might get 2, or maybe just 1. And in those moments, wastefulness can be fatal. No doubt Maresca sees it too. His young squad, full of rotation and potential, still needs sharpening, especially in tight spaces and high-pressure decision-making around the box. The margins in top-level knockout football are razor-thin. One of the standout moments at Mercedes-Benz Stadium was the promising debut of Chelsea's new signing, Liam Delap. Brought on in the 63rd minute to replace Nicolas, the former Ipswich striker wasted no time making an impact. With his pace, physicality, and relentless movement, Delap immediately stretched LAFC's backline and showed he belonged on this stage. He didn't find the net, but his contribution was undeniable. In the 79th minute, Delap made a clever run to receive the ball, glanced up, and delivered a pinpoint cross that found Enzo Fernández, who calmly controlled and finished from close range to seal Chelsea's 2-0 win. That assist was enough to get head coach Enzo Maresca out of his seat, applauding with genuine appreciation. Speaking after the match, Maresca was full of praise. It was a truly cinematic performance. Liam is strong, quick, decisive, and above all, he's eager to learn. He's embraced our football philosophy almost instantly. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He has a very bright future with England. But as impressive as this debut was, the road ahead won't be easy. Delap faces stiff competition from Nicolas, who also picked up an assist in this match and continues to deliver consistently for the Blues. This was a strong first step for the 22-year-old, but if he wants to claim that starting striker role at Chelsea, he'll need to fight harder than ever in the season ahead. But zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Chelsea still look every bit like a title contender at this Club World Cup. They've got squad depth, they've got star power, they've got international pedigree, and that's why clubs from Asia, Africa, and yes, even South America's Flamengo will approach them with caution. Because it's the South American sides with their fierce pressing, tactical discipline, and fiery intensity that will offer the true test. Can Chelsea sustain their dominance for 90 minutes? Can they turn territory into goals when space is scarce and time is shorter? One major positive: the clean sheet. Even in a match where the defense wasn't under constant pressure, Chelsea's backline stayed alert. Their pressing was coordinated, their cover and recovery work were precise, and that foundation, that defensive discipline, will be crucial as they move into the tougher stages of the competition. As for Los Angeles FC, the loss wasn't unexpected, but that doesn't mean it lacked value. This is a rare stage for an MLS side, one they only reached via a surprise replacement slot. They were outplayed, yes, but they kept their shape, They didn't lose their heads, and they avoided unnecessary fouls or confrontations. That's a credit to coach Steve Cherundolo and his players. For LAFC, this match was never about the points. It was about the experience. They stood across from a European giant and gained priceless lessons. Lessons they'll need when facing more evenly matched opponents like Espérance de Tunis. What LAFC lacked was clear. A midfield brave enough to break the press. A target man who could hold the ball and bring teammates into play. And most of all, precision in those critical first touches. With just 4 shots on target, the stats told the story. They knew what they wanted to do, they just didn't have the tools to do it. And yet, for Chelsea, the mission was accomplished. 3 points, group advantage secured. But next up is Flamengo, a team that will force them to raise their tempo, their sharpness, their entire standard. That match will be the true measure of whether Chelsea can live up to their billing as title favorites. And if they pass that test, Maresca will have every reason to believe this London side can bring global glory back to Europe. But if they fall short, well, the Club World Cup has always been a place where South American shocks are possible. So, in the end, this win was more than just a solid start. It was also a wake-up call, a reminder that numbers mean nothing without goals. Dominating possession, racking up pass accuracy, and creating chances. They only matter if the ball ends up in the net. And that might be the most important lesson Chelsea take with them on the long, unforgiving road ahead.